You ever have one of those weeks where you just want the world to leave you alone, and instead, the world shows up at your door wearing a badge and holding a clipboard? Yeah, that happened. I moved out here to escape all the nonsense, you know what I mean? Just a rundown cabin, a couple acres of hardwoods, the kind of silence you can hear in your bones. I wasn't looking for a fight, but I guess some folks need drama the way raccoons need trash cans. And that's how I ended up in an honest-to-God turf war with a Maple Hollow HOA, a power-tripping security guy named Doug, and a woman who probably dreams in bylaws. It all started the day I pulled the roof off the old cabin, snow melt dripping everywhere, my boots squelching on pine needles. The raccoons had turned the attic into a Vegas buffet. I'd been planning that tear-off all winter, doodling notes in a battered notebook, listening to the wind whistle through gaps in the siding, telling myself this spring would be different. 10 acres, no neighbors, no power lines, not a single soul to tell me how to live. That's what I'd bought when I walked away from disaster response, from hostage negotiations, from the noise that never quit. After the last bad call, I just needed peace, even if I had to build it with my own 2 hands. But peace is tricky. Some folks don't respect boundaries, no matter how clear you make them. First, it was a blackouty, idling just beyond the tree line. Sat there too long to be lost, not long enough to mean anything good. Then 2 days later, a letter slipped under a stone by the gate. Maple Hollow HOA letterhead, heavy on the serif, signed by Karen Eldridge. She wanted me to tear down my fence, said it was blocking some kind of ecological corridor between sectors 11 and 12. Wanted me to stop using off-grid power, to harmonize my visual presence, and, get this, vacate until their expansion committee could review my so-called compatibility. She actually told me to leave my own land. Let me back up a sec. I own this land, fair and square. Deed, tax overlay, parcel number, the whole 9 yards. And my place isn't part of any HOA. Never was, never will be. So I sent her a letter. Polite, but firm. Not your business, not your land, don't trespass. Put up a new sign at the gate. Private property. Not part of Maple Hollow. Trespassers will be prosecuted. Added cameras, sensors, even a fake one just to make them twitch. I figured that'd be the end of it. You'd think so, right? Nope. 8 days later, I'm out checking the fence line when I catch 2 guys stepping right over my post like they own the place. One's built like a fridge, wearing camo and a tactical vest, radio clipped on like he's starring in his own low-budget cop show. The other's wiry, clipboard in hand, property consultant on his vest. They're narrating their trespass like it's a Discovery Channel special. Gentlemen, you're on private land, I call out. The big guy, Doug Eldridge, turns out he's the so-called security committee, which isn't even a real thing, waves a printout at me. Tells me my fence is blocking their expansion boundary. Clipboard guys snapping pics, muttering about solar panel codes. I tell them flat out, unless you've got a sheriff or a warrant, you need to leave. Doug steps right up in my face, all puffed up, trying to make me blink. You're being recorded, I say, tapping the drone controller at my hip. Audio, video, GPS tagged. That gets his attention. He shoves me, one-handed, not hard, but enough to cross a line. I call the sheriff right then and there. Doug doesn't move until the dispatcher picks up. Only then does he back off, muttering about how the system works. I don't flinch. I don't yell. I hand the sheriff my deed, the drone footage, and my statement when he arrives. Turns out the deputy, Harris, actually knows me from my old life. Doug gets detained for questioning, clipboard guy bolts, and suddenly the HOA realizes I'm not just some hermit they can roll over. But these people don't quit. The next morning, the woods go quiet, too quiet. I get a voicemail from the sheriff's office. Public safety report, armed, unstable male in an unregistered cabin. Someone claimed I had PTSD, that I was a risk to the community. Deputies are dispatched for a wellness check. I call them before they even arrive, spell out who I am, show them every permit and registration. One of the deputies, Taylor, is an old buddy from disaster response days. He laughs when he sees how organized my setup is, solar docks, hunting license, even composting toilet compliance. They check the cameras, the boundaries, everything legal, everything tidy. I show them the HOA letter and the drone video of Doug. Taylor sighs. Turns out Karen's pulled this trick before. 3 false reports in the last year. always against anyone who doesn't fit the HOA's aesthetic. It's harassment, plain and simple. I asked them to log it officially, recommend a no-contact order, and Taylor agrees. Lock your gates tonight, he says as he leaves. I reinforce the fences, reprogram the drone for night patrol, print a new sign. You are being recorded. This property is not abandoned. This property is not yours. That same day, Karen claims I'm digging pits with barbed wire, says I'm endangering families. The deputies check it out, find I'm just reinforcing my garden fence. But Karen's not giving up. She calls in complaints about solar runoff, wild claims about my militia activity. The more noise she makes, the tighter I lock things down. Cloud backups for every camera, legal citations on every sign. I want a firewall, not a fight. But then the story turns. A new letter from the HOA vice president, this one demanding a voluntary inspection by their committee, pure intimidation dressed up as concern. Shortly after, Deputy Daniels, off-duty, stops by. Warns me Karen's trying to paint Doug's arrest as a safety intervention gone wrong, that she's pressuring local nonprofits to go after me for environmental damage. None of it's true, but it's all about creating chaos. That night, I get an email from my lawyer, Maya, a legal force of nature if there ever was one. This is textbook harassment, she says. Trespass, threats, false reporting, and now physical violence. We file restraining orders against Doug and Karen, start a civil suit for defamation, emotional distress, and attempted property interference. Maya wants to include the HOA itself, says they're complicit, pretending to be a government entity. And then, out of nowhere, a woman named Darlene from the state auditing team shows up. Clipboard, boots, glasses, she's nobody's fool. She's investigating Maple Hollow for overreach, billing people outside their borders, forging invoices. Slides me a flash drive, internal HOA emails. Karen calling me, the squatter forest militia, plotting to pressure me off the land. If Doug has to scare him a little, so be it. That email alone cracks the case open. I forward everything to Maya and the sheriff. The county freezes HOA activity, opens a full investigation. Suddenly, 3 board members resign. The press gets wind. A local journalist runs a story, interviews me, digs up old complaints. More folks come forward. Karen's pulled the same stunts on them, too. She goes on a next-door rant about dangerous men hiding in plain sight, posts blurry pictures of me, claims I'm unstable. The internet eats it up, but now there are witnesses. Former residents, a class action lawyer, even housing rights advocates get involved. Then comes the real twist, a pattern of false police reports, one about a Latino teenager birdwatching, another about a hiker looking homeless. This isn't just about property lines anymore. It's civil rights, plain and simple. The judge signs an emergency restraining order. Karen can't even send a cop my way without risking contempt of court. By now, the county audit uncovers unauthorized dues, fake maintenance fees, and Doug's so-called fire patrols, just him playing Smokey Bear in a camo vest. Doug's arrested, denied bail. His own ex-co-worker testifies about his violent history. Karen, meanwhile, is radio silent, except for her late-night social media campaign, painting herself the victim of a radical militia landowner. The neighborhood is split, half scared, half rooting for me. Court comes fast. Maya's ready. Audio from Karen's 911 call, emails, drone footage, social media posts, county records, the works. The judge doesn't need long. Karen, guilty of false reporting, harassment, abuse of process, public endangerment. Doug's got his own stack of charges. Maple Hollow HOA is dissolved, their charter suspended. And me? The judge sets a protective buffer around my land. 200 yards, recognized by county law, the first ruling of its kind. No HOA, no individual, no one steps foot on that buffer without my written consent. I go home. The wood's finally quiet. I build a new porch. Install a steel sign. You are being recorded. Trespassers will be educated. Legal department, me. Before long, folks start showing up. Other landowners, victims of HOA overreach, people just looking to take back a little control. They call me the bearded sovereign now. I prefer landowner. I didn't set out to be a symbol, but maybe that's how these stories end. Or maybe it's just where this chapter closes. Now let me ask you, was it right what I did? Was it justice? or just another battle line in the endless war between neighbors and power? You tell me. Drop a comment, share your own stories, and let's see where this fight for community really belongs. Because out here, at the edge of the woods, sometimes the only way to keep your peace is to stand your ground.